Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere.
Last week, I got a call from a retailer regarding a seasonal job, and the HR person, who sounded like a black woman, wanted to schedule an interview on a Saturday. Now, that was a red flag for me as related to this job, because most employers respect a potential candidate's time, and when you have an employer going out here and scheduling interviews for Saturday, that really shows how that employer's people do not respect the time of their potential candidates. Now, when I listened to her say that she wanted to schedule that interview on a Saturday, that's when the potential for an interview for a job turned into a crap test. And a lot of times when you have females working in places like HR, what they want to do is abuse the power of their position, and instead of them looking to be professional, what they do is look to go out here and crap test potential employees to see what they can get away with. And I talk about this in depth in my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, and basically what this HR person was looking for a simp to see, again, what boundaries she could push and what she could get away with. Because any unsuspecting individual, they're going to go out here and think, oh, an interview on a Saturday is a good thing. However, an interview on a Saturday basically is the employer sending a message that they're not looking for professional employees. No, they're looking for pawns to take advantage of, and they want to see who is desperate enough to go out here and take their personal time in order to go out here and get a job where they might potentially wind up getting abused. And I say that they might potentially wind up getting abused by this employer because if an employer does not value your personal time, then they're not going to go out here and treat you with respect once you get this job. Because once you get this job for this employer, was already shown that they do not value your time, which is a Saturday, because a weekend is your time. They will go out here and further look to push and violate your boundaries by going out here and scheduling you for all sorts of crazy hours and have you working all sorts of crazy hours at their company. Moreover, they will have you working erratic hours because they will just keep flipping the schedule up and down, and you won't be able to go out here and set a routine because this person has gone out here and they saw, okay, from minute one, I see that this person is desperate for this job. So since they're desperate for this job, I can go out here and take advantage of that individual by scheduling them for either early morning shifts, late night shifts, or have you working different days at different hours on different days. And this puts stress on your body and stress on your mind. And this is all because this person is not a very good leader and they don't really know how to go out here and set structure, set order, or set direction. And what they want to do is bring their chaos to you. But when you see this type of behavior, you have to be able to say, hey, I see the problem and I need to walk away from this person because this is a two-way street. And it's a two-way street because, yes, you do need a job, but the whole thing is they need to be professional when they're trying to approach you. And it is extremely unprofessional for an employer to go out here and call you and then want to schedule you for a weekend for an interview because it just is just not something you do, going out here and stepping in somebody else's time, because time is precious, and once you lose time, you just can't get it back. And again, when somebody goes out here and wants to ask you for your time, they need to show that it's just disrespectful, because again, you're calling somebody up, telling them that they need to interview you on a Saturday, when if you really wanted to interview that person and you were serious, you would be wanting to talk to them Monday through Friday, and you would find the time to talk to that person Monday through Friday. You would not go out here and be like, oh, they need to come to me on a Saturday or a Sunday, because that is, again, extremely disrespectful, especially if this person were of certain faiths. I mean, certain people's faiths, that like the Sabbath on Saturday is considered sacred, and for others, the Sunday is considered sacred as well. So there is not supposed to be any business done on that day. So again, this is disrespect to people, but this HR person sadly didn't understand how disrespectful they were being to myself, and they didn't understand that there are certain boundaries you just don't push. And again, only people who try to crap test people go out here and try to push boundaries like that, and they do that because, again, they want to see what they can get away with on the job. Because if I can get you to start on the first initial contact, going out here and coming in on a Saturday, violating your own personal boundaries, then they will further push you to violate your own personal boundaries once they get you on the job and have you doing things that are unsafe, things that are unethical, or things that are criminal. So it's a very, very slippery slope when you go out here and you're dealing with an employer and they don't understand where the boundaries are, because what they will do is start you off, okay, he's coming in on a Saturday, then you start getting the crazy schedule with the erratic hours, then you're placed in unsafe working conditions, then you are placed in a situation where you're doing things that are unethical, like working overtime and not getting overtime pay, and then you're stuck in situations where you're doing things that are illegal. And again, this is all about getting you to violate your boundaries, because they want you to believe that you need to work more than you need your intangibles as related to your manhood or your womanhood. And things like your character, your dignity, and your self-respect are worth more than a job. So when you're dealing with an employer who wants you to break your boundaries, that's when you need to start breaking off a connection with these individuals. Because if this company is not going to be looking out for your safety and your health and possibly your freedom, if they're asking you to go out here and violate your personal boundaries, then when something goes wrong, these people will sit there and tell you, oh, it's your fault. And again, partially it is your fault because you were too eager. And if you're too eager to go get one of these jobs, then you're going to put yourself in a dangerous situation. Because again, if a person cannot respect your boundaries on an initial contact, cannot respect a person's basic rules for living, then that's not an employer you want to work for. Because if that employer cannot respect your time and respect your personal space, then you don't need to be a part of that company. And again, I really believe that this retailer really needs to go have a talk with their HR people, because to call somebody and schedule them for an interview on Saturday is extremely unprofessional. Now, I know some employers out there want to say, oh, it allows us time to relax, but no, this is not something that leaves a good first impression on potential candidates like myself. Because if a person at your HR cannot respect my time, then I don't know if I want to spend time with that employer. Because you need to understand that your potential employees need to have their time, and you need to give people their space. Because when you have somebody who is out here and they don't respect people's time, that's a red flag to me that this person might be a part of a company where micromanaging is part of the culture. And nothing causes more stress for a potential employee than seeing that a company is filled with micromanagers, because micromanagers they just spend so much time scrutinizing every detail that a person just doesn't feel comfortable in doing their job, and they're not able to go out here and have the autonomy that they need to meet their tasks because the employer is extremely insecure. And again, that's another red flag to me when I hear somebody scheduling things for an interview for a Saturday. That shows me that the employer is an insecure, micromanaging individual. And as an insecure, micromanaging individual, this is a person who's going to be giving a person who works for them a lot of stress, a lot of drama, a lot of headaches, and it's all red flags for me. Again, just based on the initial phone call. And if the initial phone call is showing me some things as related to your character, then that means I'm just going to have to say to this company, this is not going to be a good fit for me. And people need to say that to employers, because an employer should not think they have a right to abuse you. No, an employer should treat you with the same respect you would treat their business if you were to go into them as a customer. If I go into this retailer as a customer and I see that they're going to give me professionalism and respect, then I would want to have that from the employees, and I would want that if I applied for them for a job. And again, the first thing that you would show me as related to respect is to value my time, and you value my time by scheduling an interview during business hours on a business weekday. And that shows me that you value my time, and you will value the work that I do for you as an employer. That's how you show a potential candidate that they're going to be valued as related to the company, even if it's a seasonal position, because you can find quality workers from seasonal workers, and you could possibly put those people on full time. That's what you would want to do as an employer if you were professional. But sadly, this employer wasn't showing, this HR person really wasn't showing professionalism, and that lack of professionalism on the initial phone call, that really is, again, a red flag. And that's something you have to really look at when you're engaging these employers. You have to look at how they're talking to you. You have to listen to what they're saying when they talk to you, because when you listen to what they're saying, and they're saying things like, oh, I want you to come in on a Saturday for an interview. They may want you to come in on a Saturday and work Saturday nights, and they might want you to work overtime again and not pay you. So if a person already shows you no respect from the first meeting, then you need to make it your last time that you engage with that person, because that person is not somebody you can work for, because that person is not going to, if they're not looking out for your best interest before they get you on the job, they're not going to be looking out for your best interest when you are on the job. So when I look at this Saturday interview, again, it was a red flag to me, and it's one that I want people to start taking a look at, because that shows me an employer isn't looking for a worker that works with them. They're looking for somebody they can take advantage of, and I wasn't going to be taken advantage of, because I understand that how you start with someone is how you finish. And if somebody wants to start in a very unprofessional fashion, then I need to stop looking to do business with them. Now, if you want to learn more on how to avoid workplace predators like I ran into in this phone call and toxic work situations, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace on Smashwords, Barnes & Noble, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today.